Hi all, today we are going to see about constructors in JavaScript. So our course, this session will be, this is the agenda for this session. We'll be seeing what are constructors in all languages, we need constructors in JavaScript, even though there is no class in JavaScript. And we will be seeing about JavaScript constructors, and we will be seeing about how constructors help in inheritance, and we will be seeing about prototypical inheritance, and we will try to as a to know more about inheritance, we will be trying to implement author person child parent relationship using JavaScript inheritance. Okay, this is the agenda for the session. Let us proceed with the session. So what are constructors? So if you see constructors, constructors are nothing but it is used for creating objects in any language. Okay, whatever you are seeing in the screen, if you see we have a class ABC, and within the constructor function, this is the constructor function for this class. Okay, so this constructor function, what it does is it initializes the class member for class ABC. So this is what normally a constructor does. So constructor, if you take, it is for creating objects in any language. And for calling the constructor, we normally say new ABC, and this will create the object and return. So this will be saved in OBJ. So this is what is constructor. Let us proceed to understand why we need constructors in JavaScript. If you take JavaScript, there is no class. Okay, there is in native JavaScript there is no class. Then why we need constructors? Normally, constructor is placed inside a class, and we create an object for that class. But constructor, there is no class. Why we need constructor? So in JavaScript, if you take an object, it is just a key value pair, as you have seen here. It is just a key value pair. This is a simple object in JavaScript. If you want to create a similar type of objects many times, you have to do like this without constructors. Okay, you have to put name xyz dh20 name a. So there should be a common template which we should be able to use so that we don't duplicate the code. So to enable simple creation, we need constructors. And other important reason is to implement inheritance. Maybe you want to create a object out of a person. Okay, that person should have a something in its inheritance tree. I want to use that inheritance for all the objects created out of that person. So in that case, we need constructors so that we can create a object out of that function, and all the objects will be able to use the objects available in its inheritance tree. So we will understand it as we proceed with the session. Okay. So let's come into the topic of what is constructor in JavaScript. Constructor is in JavaScript is nothing but a simple function. Okay, as you know, a simple function is just this. Okay, if we take a simple function, this is a simple function in JavaScript. Correct? This is a simple function in JavaScript. Okay, so the constructor function in JavaScript is just a simple function which is used for creating an object. Any simple function which you use for creating an object in JavaScript is called constructor. For creating a object out of a function, you need that new keyword. We have to do it like this: new author, something like this. So the next thing which is needed for creating an object is new keyword. And the other thing what you need is this. Okay, this function is a constructor function. This author is a constructor function. So this is used for initializing the objects in the author object. Okay, when you call like this, right, when you call new author, this will be empty object, and using this dot name I am actually putting the value of name inside that object. Okay, other thing you need to understand is we will capitalize the constructor function, the constructor function which you intend to use as constructor function for creating object. You need to capitalize so that you can will be able to differentiate. This will not throw error, but it is followed as a common practice. So in normally you will see this capitalized so that you are able to differentiate. Let me show this in example. Okay, let me copy this. Okay, and I will go to some browser and let me execute it. So if I do like this, okay, if I do like this, what we have created is a constructor function with values name, age and book. Now let me create a object out of this constructor function. For that you will do author, new author, and I have to pass in name, age and book. Let me pass in name, age and book name, maybe XYZ. He has written a book called XYZ. So whatever it returns is a author object. Okay, so what it returned is a author object. This is what it has created. Okay, but it is similar to what we would have created like this, right? If I want to create something like this, normally as a key value pair, it would be similar, but it gives a common template. If I create something like this, this is similar to this. This is similar to this, right? What we created through a constructor and what we created directly a object. But this gives a common template and the inheritance. In this case, the author will have an inheritance because we have an inheritance. Whatever this author function, whatever present in the inheritance tree, we will be able to use. But this can't be done in the case of objects. So let me come back to this. So if you take this one, right, as I told earlier, this will point to the empty object. Whenever you call a constructor function with new, this will point to the empty object, and inside that empty object you are actually putting name, age and book. That's what you are seeing here, right? So whatever been passed, I'm putting those values inside that empty object, name, age and book, with the values which has been passed to the constructor function. This is how it is working. So this is what you need to understand with the constructor in JavaScript. So this is what I have put here. So what to rephrase whatever I told, it is a simple function. Any simple function which is used for creating your object in JavaScript is called constructor. And for creating an object, you have to use the new keyword, and this is used for setting the values in the object. And the fourth thing you need to understand is we normally capitalize the constructor function so that will be able to differentiate with the normal functions. So now we have created a author object. Let us proceed. So now we have created a common template with which we can create multiple objects. So this is I told you already, it is the whatever the object which is created out of a constructor function is almost similar to the object which you directly create, but only difference is when you use a constructor to create an object, it will be able to access the the functions or objects which is present in the inheritance tree of the constructor function. So that I will try to explain you now. So let's now understand how constructors helps in inheritance. Till now I was saying that through constructor you can try to will be able to access the function objects which is present in the inheritance tree. Let us try to understand how it is possible. So let us try to understand this concept by having a simple relationship, building a simple relationship like a what we tried to build now was a author, but now I want the name and age to be in a separated constructor function, not inside the author itself. So let it be in the person, and I want the author to extend them from person. Okay, like in other languages, I want the author to extend from person, and when you create a new author, it should be able to initialize the person and author. So this is my requirement. Let me try to do it using JavaScript inheritance. Okay. So first let me ask you a simple question, whether inheritance is present in JavaScript. Many would say that it is not present because it is a simple language. Why you need inheritance? But it is completely wrong. Okay. The inheritance is actually built into JavaScript. Even when you create a simple object, a number object, it you are able to access the functions present. A string, you are able to access the length because of the inheritance present. So you should never say inheritance is not present in JavaScript. Okay. And the inheritance which is present in JavaScript is prototypical. Okay, it is prototypical. It is not classical as in other languages like Java and .NET, where a class extends from other class. But in JavaScript, it is very peculiar that object inherit from other object. Okay, let me go in deep with prototypical inheritance. What is prototypical inheritance? It is, as I said earlier, it is an object inheriting from another object. So as I told, inheritance is built into JavaScript. So never say that inheritance is not present in JavaScript. So let me explain you with a simple example. So let me create a simple number. Okay. When I put a number, num is type of num. If you try to print, it will say it is number, right? Num is a number, right? But when I try to say num dot, you are able to see these many functions. Okay, you are able to see these many. How come it is possible? How these functions are available for a number primitive or object? Actually, when you try to access a function out of a primitive, JavaScript converts to a number object. Okay, so that is not in the scope of the session. That is called cohesion. Okay, so let me try to explain that in a separate session. Okay, so this one, how it is possible, how you are able to access these many functions out of a number object. This is possible because if you try to print the prototype of number, that is the inheritance tree of num, you will be able to see that it is inherited from number, prototypically inherited from number. So that's why we are in the number has these many functions, and number prototype, if you try to see, it is from object. So we are able to access these many functions. So whatever the functions you are able to see from number is from number and object. As you see here, it is from number and object. So this is possible because num, whatever create a number is inherited from number and number is inherited from object. This is called a inheritance tree or prototype inheritance tree or whatever prototype chain they would say. Okay, so this is what. So whatever we are seeing is a number. Number is prototypically inherited from number. If you take a number, it is prototypically inherited from object. So everything ends up with object, as you see in other languages in JavaScript as well. Okay. Okay, so this is applicable not only for number, this is applicable for everything. even when you create a string, okay, you create a string, okay, if you try to print the prototype of that, you will be able to see that it is inherited from the string. In the prototype chain of a string, we have a string and it ends up with your object as well. So any string you create will be these fun methods will be available for you to use, the string methods and object methods. So if I print dd.proto, you see, so the same thing. Okay. So these many things are available for string. So this is applicable for object. If you create a simple object, its prototype will be object. So it will be able to access all the methods of the object. This is called prototype tree or inheritance tree, prototype chain or inheritance tree in JavaScript. So functions will have prototype and objects will have proto. If you create a function here, maybe I created a function, I think I created a number author function, right? So for that author function, you will see dot prototype. For objects, you will see dot proto. That's how we will should access the prototype chain. For functions, you will see prototype. For objects, you will see proto. Okay. Okay. This is how it is. This is what I have put. Other thing you need to understand is the JavaScript engine. When you are trying to access a value out of an object, it will first check its own object whether anything is present. If it is not present, then it will go to the uh, prototype chain whether it is present in that. If it is not available, it will go to its parent's prototype. So it will keep on going till it reaches object. If it is not available in the last prototype parent, then only it will throw a error. Okay. So let's come to a requirement to create a author person relationship. Okay. So let me go ahead and create a person first. So let me go and create a person. Let me go to this example. Okay, I have an example, I think, super.js. So what I have created is, hope you understand this. Let me come in this. So I'm creating a person. Okay, as I told you in the previous examples requirement, as I told you, I want to create this child parent relationship with author and person. Okay, I want the author to extend from person, and when I create a new author, it should initialize the book using the author function and name and age using the person function. So to do that, I'm first creating a person. Okay, and to that person I'm adding a get name function to the prototype chain of that person. Okay, to the prototype chain of person I'm adding a function called get name. So if I try to execute this, let me execute using node, that is server-side JavaScript. Let me go and execute this. Okay, I will execute new node of super.js. So to this person, I'm supposed to give name and age, right? Maybe I will give ABC20. And if I do a console log to this person object, try to execute now. Now we should be able to see the person object with get name. So to this person object, I've actually added the get name to its prototype chain. Okay. Let me also try to do it in the browser so that I can explain you one simple concept. So I am doing like this. So now the person object got created, right? the person object got created, because this is the person constructor function. Using that, I'm creating an object, and person object has the object. One other thing what I have done here is I have added a get name to the prototype of person constructor function. Okay, so the person object which got created will also have access to the get name function, because whenever you create a object out of a constructor function, the person object, the object which you got created, will get a hidden link to the prototype of the function with which it was created. So since this person object was created out of this person function, constructor function, it will get a hidden link to the get name, because get name is available in the prototype chain of person. Okay, so this person object will be able to access the get name now. If you try to print also, you will be able to see get name is there. So using this person object, I will be able to access get name. So you are able to see it printed the name. So this one, it got printed, this dot name, it is able to print. So this is what I have tried to explain you here. The person object which got created gets a hidden link to get name, because get name is present in the prototype of person. So since the person object is created out of person, it will be able to access get name which is available in the prototype chain of person. Okay, so we have in our requirement we have tried to complete the first step, person object we have created. Now let us move to the next step, that is creating a author. This is most important step, trying to create a author object, and trying to set person in the inheritance prototype in the inheritance tree of author, setting person in the inheritance tree of author. Let's see how we can do it. Let's move back to our example. Now we have created a person object, right? We have created a person object. Now let me create a author constructor function. So this is what we have created, author constructor function. This thing alone, what we are supposed to do, let me write it. So this was our requirement. The book should be done in the author, and name and age should be done in the person. Now whenever somebody calls new author, right, I want to initialize, whenever somebody calls like this, I want to also initialize the person object, right, which is present in the inheritance tree. So for doing that, what I can do is I can call the person object, person constructor function with call, because this in call, this person should be the same this which is present in the author. So I say you execute the person in the same, because when you do new author, the author will be receiving a this. I want the person also to be executed with the same this. That's why I'm doing like this. I'm using call for that, which makes it execute in the same this, else it will be Windows. So I have used this, and I'm passing in name and age to it. I will just pass name and age. Okay, so whenever someone calls new author, I will now initialize both the person and book. Person, through person I will initialize name and age, and through author I will initialize book. Okay, so one step is done. I have made it to initialize name age through person and book through author. Now we have to set the prototype chain, that is the inheritance tree. For that, what I have to do is, in the author.prototype, I have to set person's object, the author.prototype, because I want to set it something like this, right? I want to set the prototype chain of author. I want to set the person object. So what I'm doing, I'm setting author. I'm saying a author.prototype equal to new of person. This will set up that tree, okay, inheritance tree. And the next step is author.prototype.constructor. This is because this step will erase this. This is by default set. This may erase the constructor property of prototype. So just to re reinitialize that value, I'm doing this step. I want the author's product constructor to be author, okay, to reinitialize. Now we have set the prototype chain for author as person, and I've also added whenever the author is called with new, I have made it to initialize person as well. Now I should be able to access the get name which is present in the person. Okay, let us first try to execute this and see the author function. Okay, so let me execute this. So node super.js. So you're able to see this person object is from here and author object is from here. So the author object got initialized with name and age. Okay, and to prove that whatever object, the author object we created is an instance of both author and person, we can do this statement. First, to prove that author is an instance of author, if we try to execute now, it will say true. This is very evident. But well, whether this statement will be true, author object is an instance of person, that is the parent. If we check this also should be true. This is also true because to the author's prototype chain, we have set the parent. We have set the person. This is possible because of these two statements. Okay, just by doing this, we are able to set the author's parent as person. This step basically does that for us. Okay, and now the author object should also be accessible. Author object should also be able to access the get name which is present in the person, that is the parent, because it is all the author is also in the same inheritance tree or prototype chain, so it should be able to access. So as you see here, through the author object, I'm able to print name ABC. Okay, author object, I'm able to print this name ABC. Okay, okay, this is how we created this inheritance tree, prototype chain or inheritance tree in JavaScript. Hope you understood. Kindly subscribe to get my future videos. Thank you guys. Have a nice day. Thank you.